Hey everyone, Jeff here from Films at Home. Thanks for coming back to the channel. And in today's video, this is one that I want to do. This isn't necessarily for the physical media lovers out there, but it is for just about everybody, and possibly will get some more people interested in physical media because of this. And what it is here is I want to talk about sort of the pros and the cons of streaming. There are pros, there are many cons, and I want to give my thoughts on streaming as a whole because this comes up a lot. People ask about the future. Do I currently use streaming services? You know, what are they good for? What are they not good for? So we're going to cover that all in this video and hopefully just get all my thoughts out there and see what you guys think and maybe inspire some others to start with physical media, or maybe inspire some physical media people to understand that, you know, streaming is not necessarily the devil in this situation. We'll get to that. So to start this video, we're going to start with the cons. I'm going to talk about the things I don't like about streaming, some of the issues that, you know, going with streaming as your primary entertainment platform can have. And then towards the end, I will talk about some of the pros and some of the things that even the most hardcore physical media collectors like myself have to consider and have to think long and hard about saying just no to streaming overall, or picking and choosing where we stream and where we buy. So starting with the cons, the first con is really that the availability of the content, right? So there's a lot of issues where movies are, or TV shows, they're on streaming services for a month, they're off the next month. You know, Netflix will pull the horror movies off in October because the studios want you to buy those, want you to rent those, want you to buy the Blu-rays. Then you'll see some Christmas movies disappear. There's different rights issues. Obviously, Disney and Fox movies leaving Netflix, going to Disney Plus. Amazon Prime has exclusives. Netflix has exclusives. It's just hard to get everything in one place. And then on top of that, there's also a lot of region-locked content, which you may not understand if you're a physical media collector, but streaming services are also region locked because of rights issues, much like Blu-ray discs are. So there are certain shows, you know, in the Netflix UK that you cannot get on Netflix US, that you cannot get on Netflix Canada. Every country that has Netflix and different streaming services has different rights and different content which they can show. Although region locked streaming services like this can be a huge pain, there's actually a way around that roadblock. Much like buying a region-free player for your physical media and your Blu-rays, you can actually get a region-free streaming option by using a VPN like Private Internet Access VPN. PIA VPN has been in business for more than a decade, and they're the leading no-log VPN service. They offer unlimited access to over 20,000 servers in over 70 countries, and they've got dedicated apps for Windows, Mac, Android, iOS, and much more. So by using a service like PIA VPN, you're actually able to unblock region locks on streaming services. So for example here, the show New Girl is only available on Netflix in the US, but is not available on Netflix in the UK. So you can see what I'm doing here. By using PIA VPN, I can actually get around that. So say I was in the UK, I can set my server to be in the US, and that'll give me access to New Girl. Then you'll see when I switch back to the UK, I no longer have access to the show New Girl on Netflix. So that's one great way that you can literally jump around to any different country that Netflix has available and get their kind of region locked content by using a VPN. PIA VPN also protects your data. If you're, you know, using the internet in public universities, cafes, restaurants, schools, hotspots, you know, hackers can actually take your data. They can log into your computers over those shared network connections, and they can get a lot of your personal private data. So by using a VPN when you're connected to public access points like that, you block their ability to track you and learn what you're doing. So I've chosen to partner with PIA VPN for this because, you know, they log none of your data at all. They have support for up to 10 devices, and it's really a no-brainer for, you know, added internet security. So if you go through the link down in my description for my channel, that helps support me in this partnership. You're also going to get 2 years plus 3 months free at only $2.59 a month. I would appreciate the support here with this partnership, and I really think you will appreciate the convenience and added security of using a service like PIA VPN. Now, con number 2, obviously, is quality and compression. So as we've talked about many times, the quality that you're getting, even from a 4K stream on streaming services, is not really close to the quality you're getting from a 4K disc. In fact, many times I would liken a 4K stream to about the same quality as a 1080p Blu-ray, if not a little bit less, and it's nowhere near the 4K disc versus an HD stream, which many times to me looks about as good as a DVD or maybe an up-converted DVD on an HD TV. There's a lot to be desired when it comes to streaming, picture quality and audio. So, you do get Dolby Vision and you can get HDR and 4K on streaming, but it's not quite the same level of data that a disc is giving you. And a lot of streaming services are still lacking in terms of lossless audio, things like Dolby Atmos. And even when they do have them, are they really Dolby Atmos, or are they, streaming versions, compressed versions of Dolby Atmos? A lot of times there's a lot of compression, and that's why streaming, especially for physical media collectors like myself, is not the preferred option. If I want to watch the movie Jaws, which is one of my favorite movies, I want to watch that on a disc. I want the best quality. I don't want any issues with my internet connection slowing it down, any banding, any compression, any, hiccups in the stream. I want a disc. I want a hard physical copy that I know will play at its highest level. So that's really one of the biggest cons to streaming, is just the lack of quality and the compression and things that get brought over because things are being sent over the internet. Now that kind of ties into, if you don't have a strong internet connection, 4K streaming and even HD streaming can be a real headache versus buying a Blu-ray or a 4K disc, which you don't need an internet connection for. So that really is a huge con of streaming. It's just the access to it, the availability that most people have to stream high-end content like 4K, and the fact that even when you do stream high-end content, it's nowhere near as good as a disc. And now the last couple things, the biggest cons for me for streaming, one is that we're getting the streaming world is getting so crazy. You need more and more services. It's getting to the point now where, Paramount has a service, Disney and Fox obviously have a service, Hulu has a bunch of content, Netflix, Amazon Prime. There's so much streaming that it's like, how much is too much? And at what point does paying for all these services end up costing you more than paying for your cable and your internet as a whole? And now it's like you're paying for 2 cable packages. So the cost can get really extreme, especially when it's a monthly cost. At least, when you're buying physical media, you can budget that. You can say, I'm going to spend $50 this month, and you may be able to get 10 Blu-rays, $5 a piece, or a couple 3 or 4 4K discs at a good deal. But you know that if the next month you need to cut that budget, you cannot buy any discs, versus if you have Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Disney Plus, all these different things. That's a monthly cost, recurring. I kind of liken it to leasing a car versus financing and buying a car. If you're leasing a car, you're always going to have a payment, and you're paying for that convenience of having a new car and all the new features. But if you own a car and you buy a car, you can budget better, you can save some money. At some point, you don't need a car payment, you can just enjoy the car. If that makes sense, that's how I kind of see the two. So it really depends on your kind of financial situation and what you can afford and how you want to budget. But streaming can certainly get pretty expensive, although I shouldn't talk. As a collector, I spend a lot of money on movies, obviously, but it's nice that I don't have that plus streaming costs on top of it. And the last one for me, the biggest reason that, I don't watch as much on streaming as I do on physical media, is because I think we need to support physical media, and by watching more movies on streaming and paying for more streaming services, you are hurting physical media. So if you're a collector who likes Blu-ray and 4K, if you're signing up for all these different streaming services and watching movies that you have in your collection, you're telling these streaming services that people are more interested in streaming versus telling Universal, Paramount, Warner Brothers, Disney that people are more interested in buying the discs. As they start to see more and more of that data, which is already obviously lopsided, but if it becomes too lopsided, then you run the risk of somebody stopping production of physical media and focusing completely on streaming, because the numbers just start to make sense. So that's the reason why, even though I do watch some streaming content, even if I see something I like, I will go out and purchase it as well to show my support for physical media and for the format. So there are a lot of cons to streaming. There are a lot of things I don't like about it, and if you've been watching this channel for a while, you may be saying, well, there's nothing good about streaming. But that is where I want to try and not change that feeling, but I do want people to understand that streaming is not the devil. It's not the most evil thing you can do as a collector, that there is a balance between watching streaming content, watching physical media content, and doing both does not make you a bad physical media supporter. So there are certainly pros to streaming, right? Number one, obviously convenience. If you're sitting on your living room couch and you want to watch a movie, it's very easy to talk into your remote, say, hey, Netflix, Open Netflix, pull up a movie, open Hulu, pull up a TV show or a movie, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus. Very, very convenient. You don't need to go and get a disc, get up, put it in the player. In this age of convenience and speed and instant gratification, it makes a lot of sense to stream for many people because it's just easier. Plus, you don't have that added sort of need to store a collection like this. You have thousands of movies at your fingertips, right? So that is a pro for many people who don't have the space for a collection, just necessarily aren't interested in the highest quality, and just want to watch movies at their own convenience. Obviously, streaming is very good at that compared to physical media. The other thing that streaming can be great at is original programming. You know, there's tons of stuff on Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus, Hulu, many, unique documentaries that won't get a physical media release that I do love to watch. A lot of true crime shows, stuff on HBO Max has been really good, and occasionally the odd Netflix show here or there will get a physical release. Luckily, some of their movies are still getting releases by Criterion. There is still support for physical media from the streaming services, which clearly shows that physical media is not going anywhere anytime soon. There's obviously still support there, but there is a lot of original content. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and say that I'm not watching The Mandalorian or WandaVision because I don't support Disney Plus. I have Disney Plus. I have it because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I really like Marvel stuff, and I want to watch those shows. I don't want to miss them because I'm a fan of that content. Would I love to see a 4K release of The Mandalorian someday? Absolutely, but until that point in time, they have forced my hand to watch that content. And so I'm not just going to sit here and say streaming is the devil. I won't support The Mandalorian because it's on a streaming service, because I support Star Wars as a fan first and foremost, and I'm going to watch that content. So when you think about the original content, that is a major pro to streaming, is they have some original stuff that you simply can't get on disc, which is why I think you have to balance streaming with physical media as a true kind of entertainment and media lover. And then lastly, although this can also be considered a con, there's a definite pro to just the pure selection that's available on streaming services. To amass a physical media collection of my, 3,000 discs that I have in here, numerous TV shows, Blu-rays, that's taken me a decade. It's taken me 10 years to do all of this. And it's taken many of you guys, even longer to amass these large collections. And so, by having access to things like Netflix and Prime and Disney Plus, you do have access to a large selection. The thing that you are giving up, though, of course, is your ownership. You're leasing, right? Again, back to that metaphor, you are leasing that content. Even if you purchase digital copies, you're leasing it versus I'm owning the disc. So it all just comes down to your convenience. But as a pure physical media supporter, I love physical media. Don't by any means think that I'm ditching my collection, going towards streaming. No, love my collection, love physical media. But it is the reality in 2021 that if you shut out streaming completely, you are missing out on a lot of good content. So it's not evil to have streaming. There's certainly a time and a place for it. But as always, if you're a physical media and you're a real movie geek, you're gonna want to own the physical versions of your movies. That's just the best and safest way to make sure you don't lose access, you have the best quality, you have the best experience, and you support the studios that made that movie. And personally, I think it supports the filmmakers a little bit more if you spend $20 on a Blu-ray versus $7 a month on streaming. Same thing as if you stream on Spotify some artist's music and they get paid 1/1,000,000th of a cent, or you can go to their concert, or you can buy their vinyl record, buy a t-shirt, and they're getting $20, $25 from you up front. It's a better way to support filmmakers and studios, in my opinion, to buy the physical media copy when you really like something. Otherwise, maybe you check it out on streaming first and then buy the copy. It's not evil, though. That's what I want to get across here. In 2021, we can't fight this battle that streaming needs to die and nobody should ever stream anything. It's a balance. Everything is a balance in life. Streaming is balanced. It has its pros. It has plenty of cons that we've already talked about, but it has to be balanced. And the only way that you're going to get the best, media experience as a fan of movies and TV and all these different franchises is to slightly embrace streaming as the redheaded stepchild, but they're still the stepchild, right? They're still your stepchild. They may be the redheaded stepchild, but you have to bring it into your family of applications and your viewing experience in order to get the most out of all the content that's out there. So that's it for this video. Those are my thoughts. I hope that was interesting. I hope that was insightful. I may have probably pissed some people off if there's 100% hardcore physical media supporters out there, but I really do think it has to be a balance, and you're fighting a losing battle to say you want streaming to go away 100%. It's just not the reality of the world right now. It's not the reality of business. It's not the reality of how things work. So buy your physical copies, support your favorite filmmakers, support physical media when it is released, but it doesn't make you a bad person for watching The Mandalorian. It's okay to have both. That's the main point of this video, I guess. It's okay to have both. It's okay to have a balance and to support physical media when and where you can. Once again, just want to thank the sponsor for this video, PIA VPN. Go check out their links down in the description. I appreciate when I can work with sponsors that actually tie into an interesting video like this. So thanks to PIA VPN. Go check them out, and go check out all my other links, social media links, TikTok, Instagram, ways you can become a channel member, donate to the channel, and other ways you can support me down in the description. I really appreciate you all watching this. I know it's a little bit longer. I've been doing sort of longer videos lately because I have a lot on my mind that I want to get out there to the community, but hope you guys are all appreciating this and enjoying them. I'll be back very soon. Lots more 4K reviews to do. Actually, some Blu-ray reviews. I've got Small Soldiers and Good Burger coming in, so those are going to be awesome to check out on Blu-ray for the first time, and lots of cool stuff coming as well. So make sure you subscribe and have your notifications on. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe and stay healthy out there, and thank you for watching. I will talk to you soon.